did the players come back in with any more of a spring in their step after Tuesday's first point of the season?
They've been good anyway. So the atmosphere around the training ground and the focus on training has been top draw anyway. So pleased for them that they've got something tangible for their effort. And like I said the other night, pleased for all the people who travelled, staff and supporters and players. Pleased for them that they've got a tiny reward for the effort that's been put in up to this point.
And you've talked of building blocks. What dictates the pace of that process of building those blocks?
Just building on a really good performance. So we did the basics really well. We ran, we defended doggedly. So just keep building on those elements. And see how hard you have to work to even get a point in this league. So just keep building on those basic elements and adding bits as we go.
And I guess the other thing from the other night, which you'll need again for Saturday at Exeter, is you'll need a 90-minute performance.
Yeah, so we know what they're about, and we're well aware of their home record. So they've had 2 good results at home this season, but the home record last season was obviously very good as well. So no, we'll need an all-round performance again.
Obviously, there's the chance to put right the League Cup tie, the 7-0. Is that a motivation, or is this a completely different game with probably the bulk of the players being different as well?
I don't know if it's a motivation, because I think our players are motivated anyway. So, but it'll be a factor, obviously. But you can't. You've been beat by the same team 7-0 10 days ago. You can't get away from it. It's going to be part of the narrative and part of the build-up. So, if it adds any extra fire to us, then that'll be welcome.
And the way in which they've started the season, I mean, can it just be summed up by they're still on a high from their promotion from last season?
I think they're a good team. So you probably do get a bounce when you're a promoted team. You get that excitement and that feel-good factor around the place. But ultimately, they're getting results because they're a good team with good players and they're well versed in what they're doing. So we're under no illusions. If we were anyway, obviously the result last week will put paid to that. So no, we know exactly what we're walking into.
And Giovanni Brown and Sam Nombe seem to have flipped. Is it about stopping them, or is it about stopping the supply to them?
No, it's about both. It's impossible to stop any ball coming into them. So we saw what handful Nombe was in the League Cup game. So we'll have to be not just him, but they have got good attacking options. Whether it's Brown, Jay, Nombe, obviously Cole came on. So no, we'll be prepped.
And in terms of your defence stopping them, do you feel that sort of your defence is beginning to sort of click and get a more of an understanding? I think that's something that Luke said after Tuesday night, that things are settling down in that way.
Possibly. We obviously had to change the team in the first few games, so we were able to field the same 11, same back 5 Saturday, Tuesday. So possibly it helps that they are gaining an understanding. You've put 3 new elements. If you put back 6 in, there's 3 brand new elements in there with Luke, Jacko and Caleb from the other night. Obviously Ben Williams has been in the building a little bit longer, but he missed a chunk of games at the back end of last season. So yeah, I think you have to bear in mind that as a unit, it is relatively new.
At the other end of the pitch, Dan Lundu booked on Tuesday night, possibly even targeted as well by Fleetwood, but you kept him on for the full 90. How pleasing is that he lasted the full 90? And have you had to have a word about sort of how to deal with that sort of treatment?
Just make him aware that he is. I think what you've got to remember with Dan is he's a young man, and certainly in terms of games, so he hasn't had bundles and bundles of starts. So he'll get exposed to certain stuff. The whole reason he's out on loan is to expose him to that side of the game. So we know technically, physically, he's excellent. He's understanding what league football's all about and how people are going to rile him and ruffle him. So he's a really good kid. He takes things on board. He thinks deeply about things, and you can see already. I thought he was great the other night. So teams are going to try any means to stop him, and you can see already he's learning to cope and deal with that.
It's a compliment as much as anything, isn't it? Because if he wasn't any good, they wouldn't need to bother.
No, and he has to understand that. He has to take it as a compliment. So you saw, even in pre-season, or he'd get kicked and pulled and he'd get irate, and it is telling him just that. Take it as a compliment. Take it as a confidence booster.
Injuries? How's the squad?
No, fine. A few bumps and bruises from the other night, but nothing major off the back of it.
And you're still not expecting anyone in before Saturday?
No, nothing before the weekend.
Terrific. Wade, thanks very much.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
Wade, obviously very pleasing to get the first clean sheet on Tuesday. No goal at the other end, but do you feel like you're creating enough chances that the goals are going to come if you keep performing as you have been, or are there certain things you're looking to do much better to make sure the ball does go over the line?
No, exactly that. So when you're able to break the game down properly, all the stats, all the XG, chances created, penalty area entries, they're all pointing in the right direction. So no, I think all the underlying work and all the underlying stats back up that the goals will all come.
Mentioned Ryan Jackson being one of the new elements in the back six, and do you think that was his best performance on Tuesday? Do you think he's showing signs of getting that sharpness that maybe he took a while to get because he didn't have a pre-season?
Yeah, he was excellent, Jacko. So it was always going to take him a little bit. He's missed whole pre-season, so I think he's had three or four games now, if not full 90s. So he'd be getting up to around the level that we'd expect of him, and you could see that. He was sharper in his press, more aggressive in his press, carried the ball well, got back into his defensive shape with a good intensity. So all the things that you'd want and expect of a wing back, I thought Jacko delivered the other night.
And like you said, a few fans were there, made themselves heard, and they were also very appreciative of the performance, weren't they? Afterwards, I think they clapped you off after they could see the efforts and the positives that were on show.
No, we're appreciative of them as well. So it's a big commitment to travel up to Fleetwood on a Tuesday night, especially with the M6 in the state it is. So no, we're appreciative of their support, and like I said, pleased that we've got to take a point home, which is some reward for their effort as well.
Yeah, when you've had Fleetwood on a Tuesday away and got back, probably, I'm not sure what time you got back, but certainly early hours of the morning, back on the road, but I understand you've been given a rare luxury of an overnighter for this one. Yeah,
we'll go down I think if you're ever visiting Devon or Cornwall in the holidays, it can be a nightmare to get there. Plus there's a rail strike on Saturday, so I think it's just prudent to get down on the Friday. And yeah, it gives us a chance to a little bit more time with the players. They can rest up. So no, we'll go there. I'm not worried. I'm not worried physically. So physically, I think we're super fit. I know from what I've seen in pre-season that they can go day after day after day physically. It's just refreshing their minds, keeping them mentally fresh, and going down on the Friday will help.
You're going to do anything different to last season's? I know you don't get to do many overnighters really, but would it be the same routine that you've had since you've been at the club in terms of the hotel stay and the preparation for the game?
Yeah, it'd be exactly the same. So just gives you a chance to touch base with players, and they get to spend a little bit more time with each other away from the bus and the training ground. So which we haven't had the chance to do really. We obviously we don't go away for pre-season. We wouldn't be able to do that previously with COVID anyway. So it just gives the players a little bit more time informally in each other's company, which will be a benefit as well.
Will there be a few singing, do you think, tomorrow night?
That's a good question, that, John. I don't know, actually. Is there Will Ferry, maybe? Possibly, yeah. Don't know if he knows that. It might get chucked on him. Yeah, there might be one or two.
Yeah. Do you feel like like you said, you haven't really had an overnight yet. You haven't been away pre-season. There's been probably, I think, 11 new signings. You feel like they're all mixing together. You've seen good signs in terms of because that was definitely a feature last season, wasn't it? The spirit.
Say that again, mate. Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Are you sort of seeing good signs with the spirit? Because there has been a lot of new signings. Do you feel like they're all mixing together quite nicely? Are you happy with that side of it?
The dressing room is brilliant. So the culture and the work ethic and the way they support each other is top draw. And we do work hard on character. It's one thing that we do really check on before we make a signing, because that's what we have to be about. With the greatest of respect, we can't. I think we've got good players, but we can't go and buy sort of at the top end of the market in this league. So our USP has to be making sure that we have a really good dressing room. Always buy on character. So the one thing that we're non-negotiable is that they have to be prepared to be humble, work hard for each other.
Just finally, Wade, you had a decent chat with Matty Taylor after the game at home in the cup. You might need to stay private what he said, but what was that like? Because I know you know him quite well. How was he after that? Is it difficult to know what to say after a game like that?
No, he was. Matty's, like I said, we'd known each other a long time, so didn't have to be. It wasn't awkward. It was. I think Matty's been in the job a little while, so he's been there. He's been on the end of bad nights. No, he was good. I get on well with him, and obviously, I hope he has a. I hope we turn him over Saturday, but I wish him that side. I wish him well.